Check out Paddy Power's new and exclusive Cash Card Plus, available to use online, at ATMs, or even down the local. Paddy Power, you beauty.
Hello and welcome to the Monday Postcast. I'm Maddie Plough, and this week I've got an excellent panel. I'm joined by Racing Post colleague Lee Mottershead is beside me on the sofa, and we've also got Tom Siegel and Paddy Power as well. Coming up on today's Postcast, we're going to take an early look at York, which gets underway on Wednesday week, which is very exciting. We're going to have a look back on the Shergar Cup shenanigans and everything that happened this weekend. And of course, there's your chance to win the £25 or £25 free bet from Paddy Power. Right, first, we're going to crack on and look at Newbury and the Curragh this weekend. We're going to look ahead to the Hungerford first, the Group 2. I believe we've still got the two previous winners, Bretton Rock, who obviously won the Lennox Stakes last time out, and Richard Pankhurst, who won the race last year, still engaged. Don't think we've got any betting yet, have we, Paddy? But let's go to you first. And how do you think you would price this up?
Well, the one I'm kind of interested, I think that the ground is going to dictate probably the running plan. That, to be fair, we're probably spending more time in recent weeks looking at weather forecasts and form guides or whatever. But it looks like, I just had a quick look there earlier, and it looks like it's going to be probably on the around good to soft. So, but I think the weather will obviously dictate full final running plans. The one I've kind of have an eye on, I'm just interested to see again, would be Le Brise. Presume it turns up, because I just thought it was eye-catching the last day. Didn't really get a run, and just could be decent quality. I think you kind of have to wait to see the final makeup of the race, I think, before you can really nail your colours to master. Le Brise is the one I was hoping will run, and I hopefully continues to stay there during declarations.
Is he a bit of a cliff horse for you? Quite a lot of people have been banging on about him, and he's sort of yet to deliver at this level, isn't he? I mean, he's done it in
until
handicaps.
This weekend.
Okie dokie. Tom, what about you?
Well, I need my Dex man, Lee, to fill me in here, but I fit similar to Paddy. I do think Le Brise is a bit of a clear force, but I do think he's got a race like this in him. I was wondering which of the 3-year-olds were in there.
Right, well, I was going to say, we'll go over to Lee and the magic iPad.
Shall I with my magic iPad? So
yes.
We have, I think it was 21 I counted. And in terms of 3-year-old participation, the potential contenders are Spirit of Valor, Mubtasim, Psychedelic Funk, Russamat, Sedansalot, Daban, and Poet's Vanity.
Oh, well, Daban's in there.
I did enjoy
That was very
it.
good. That was very good, Lee. Well done.
Nice, yeah. I've got a year into the shipping forecast. I'm just trying to aim towards that one.
We'll have you back as a reader.
Thank you,
in
dear.
future. I like Daban then. I thought she was really good at the start of the season. Was it in the? I can't remember. Fred Darling, one of those at Newmarket. Third in the Guineas, wasn't she? Went to Ascot, got drawn on the wrong side.
Nell Gwynn.
Nell Gwynn, that's it, one of those. Third in the Guineas to win, didn't stay the trip. Back at 7, soft ground, little bit of soft ground, perfect. Daban, done. Next race.
Ran well in the jersey, didn't she, as well?
Oh, don't you see? You call me for banging on, and now you've got me going again.
I'm backing up your argument.
Yeah,
she ran really well at Royal Ascot,
jersey.
didn't she?
She did, because she was drawn on the wrong side, away from all the participants, all the principals.
Okay,
there
Lee.
Well, I mean, to be honest, I've had a bit of a pop of the 7-furlong division today in the column, so I probably shouldn't be touching on this one. I think it doesn't really excite me a great deal, to be fair. I think the 7-furlong horses at the minute, they're all much of a muchness. I think Bretton Rock, you know where you are with him. He can, he can flop or he can deliver, but he's that sort of horse. Wouldn't be surprised if he won again. I hanker after the old days when the Hungerford Stakes.
Taking another trip down memory lane now.
I am. See, in the old days, this used to be run round a bend, the Hungerford Stakes, and I enjoy races around a bend. And I think sometimes all these straight course races, I can see why Newbury do it, because it in theory it gives more horses a chance of winning. But I preferred it when the Fred Darling and the Hungerford Stakes were run round a bend. I think it increases the importance of jockeyship in a race. I think it produces more exciting races than just a field of horses going in a straight line. But I'm sorry to say that's a bit negative, isn't it? But
that's
it's
my
fine.
job.
I was going to say Tom's wanted to talk.
Dearie me.
I know, but
what am I here for now?
I'm
if you're going to do all the negativity,
how do you feel about racing round a bend, Tom, compared to racing in a straight line?
I couldn't agree more.
Thank you.
And I think the thing about straight track races is that it all depends nowadays. It all depends on track biases and draws, whereas round a bend it's far, far less important. Draws round the bend. Well, obviously Chester exception, but 99% of tracks, I don't care about the draw around the bend on straight tracks. I think it's vital. And at Newbury, I don't think you want to be drawn on the stand side ever these days. I think you want to be as far away from the stands rail as you can. They seem to win up the middle all the time. Why not have it round a bend so we don't have that distraction?
Bring back the Hungerford Bend.
Well said, Lee.
Thank you.
Well, one race that does have a bend in it is the Jeffrey Freer, but we can't talk about that because we haven't really got much declarations. So we're going to move straight on to the Curragh to give it a quick look as well. They have their Group 3 Irish St Leger Trial Stakes. Again, it's Mullins and O'Brien. They've got loads of different representatives in there. Paddy, if we go to you first, you being our Irish guru, what do you make of this one at this stage?
Yeah, fucking hell. So I'll okay at this stage.
Paddy, before we go, you'll be glued to this, weren't you, at the Curragh on Saturday? Were you anywhere else you got to go?
Well, this weekend I'm actually flying out on Sunday. I'm going to America. I'm going to Vegas.
Oh, what are you doing out there? Oh, here we go. You're watching your boy fighting.
Yeah, it's my first time ever going to Vegas, believe it or not. I'm a bit worried about myself, to be fair. I was just down to the bank today trying to order US dollars. But so back to this race, the Leger Trial.
Yeah, go on, Tom.
Sorry.
Genuinely don't have a rashers what's going to run here, so it all depends what does turn up. I was thinking about I was actually thinking about the kind of end of season Curragh meetings and that, like whether we should be thinking about Dermot Weld making a resurgence or not. I mean, he's had obviously a terrible Galway for him, and a very real tough season for him, and a lot of it's down to potential. I think he'd argue that it's down to the redevelopment in the Curragh because he trains right beside it, but he's taken some of his horse out and trains them elsewhere now. So he's got Zakova in there, the top of the pops in terms of the entries, and that could be one that might be interesting. But Willie Mullins has been having a really successful summer on the flat as well. You can be sure he's going to be aiming a couple of his big names at this as well. So whether it's going to be Max Dynamite or Ivan Grozny or whoever, you wouldn't know, or even Thomas Hobson might be aimed towards this. But to be honest with you, I actually don't know. We're down to, we've got 42 entries at the moment. We're probably going to have 5 runners or 7 runners in the day. So it's difficult to break it down, to be honest.
Okay, Tom, anything catch your eye in those big lists of declarations?
Well, I'm a big Rekindling fan. I thought he was incredibly impressive when he won the Shergar Cup over course and distance. He beat the older horses Wicklow Brave and his pals. Wicklow Brave was 4th in the Goodwood Cup. I thought it was really, really good run. If you ever watched the race, he got trapped in behind, and the Curragh's a really hard track to make up lots of ground late on, but he made up 4 or 5 lengths on Wicklow Brave in the last furlong and 1 going away. So he's a horse I'm interested in for any Leger going on. So I think the trial will be interesting for him. And another one, Aidan's 3-year-old Belgravia is quite an interesting horse. If you think back to what's the race? The Queen's Vase, Stradivarius race at Ascot. Belgravia started favourite. I bet if you'd put that on a quiz question, no one would ever get Belgravia was favourite to win the Queen's Vase, but he was. And he got unlucky. He got stopped in the run a few times. He finished 4th. He wasn't beaten very far by Stradivarius. He's come out and won at Leopardstown since. In between that, he was miles behind Rekindling at the Curragh. I don't know what happened that day. But I think he's the type of horse that could run well in a race like this. And my old friend Defoe's in there. I doubt very much with the Defoe. I don't think he'll run. I don't think there's any chance he'll run. But he's definitely a massive Leger player going forward.
I was going to ask you about him because I'd say he's one of the more interesting runners. And obviously being a 3-year-old, he's right up your street. Would you fancy him for the Leger?
Yeah, very much. Very much, yeah.
Over Rekindling or...?
Over Rekindling, yes. I think Rekindling will probably stay in Ireland. He's got twice he's been to England. He's run below form. He's won at the Curragh a couple of times, hasn't he? And so I would imagine the plan for Rekindling would be to stay in Ireland for the Irish St Leger. Defoe, I think, has cast iron Leger prospects. I thought he beat Frankus, didn't he, at Hamilton last time? Frankus won the Group 3 on Saturday. I think he's getting better all the time. He's unbeaten. He's going to crying out for a step up in trip. Won't mind if it will like what usually is sort of good to softish ground up at Doncaster for the Leger meeting. He's got a great chance.
Okay. Lee, with the magic iPad, what insight can you give us? Is it Mullins and O'Brien monopoly for you?
I don't know. I think it's almost impossible to try and look forward to because we just don't know who's going to be going in the race. There's a huge entry at this stage. Like Tom, I do like Rekindling as a horse. I backed him in the Derby. I thought he's running the Dante was not a fair reflection of his ability. I thought he'd run well the time before that at Leopardstown. He's owned by Lloyd Williams, who is the huge Aussie owner who is obsessed with the cups over there. So I thought it's only a matter of time before he's taken over to run in a Melbourne Cup one day. He's only 3 now though. So yeah, I'd be interested in him going forward. And I'd be interested in the 2-year-old race obviously on Sunday, the Futurity Stakes. We've got no idea who's going to go in it. But if he did go, I was really excited by Amedeo Modigliani.
Bravo.
Thank you. Yeah. At Galway, he beat absolutely nothing, and he did it with his head slightly high. But he looked like he had a bit of the wow factor about him, and we love a bit of the wow factor.
We do, of course we do. If we're talking about the Futurity Stakes, I had a quick look at this and I saw that they've got Gustav Klimt and the Pentagon, two of the names that stood out to me there. Anyone got any massive sort of strong opinions on whichever Aidan O'Brien's going to send, or his best 2-year-old that he thinks he'll aim at this race? Obviously, he usually just farms them, doesn't he, Paddy?
Yeah, don't have a clue yet. I mean, honestly, but he's going to have probably 2 or 3 of the first 3 in the betting. To be fair, so it's going to be all about whatever he sends.
What he does, Paddy, Aidan, he doesn't tend to muck about with trips. They don't go from up to down, if you see what I mean. So the Pentagon's been running over a mile. I doubt he'll come back in trip. Its horses tend to, go up in trip rather than reverse down. I know Deauville's going to do that from now on after his run in Arlington on Saturday, but they tend to go up. So I doubt the Pentagon would run, but it'd be interesting. I could see Gustav Klimt. They might want a Group 1 with him now. He's won a group race already, but this is a Group 2, so he could run, and he's got a penalty, you see, under there. So there's plenty they could run in there. Who knows?
Yeah, I know you liked Gustav Klimt a lot before Newmarket, but you weren't as impressed with some, were you?
No. I just don't think the form's that good. I thought he was better at in his maiden. I thought he was really impressive with his turn of foot in the maiden, and I know he got hampered slightly, but didn't think it made that great much difference. Nebo's come out and been absolutely thrashed since. I just think we might have got a bit carried away with the level, because he got hampered. People sort of thought it was a tremendously, he did really well to win, but
Yeah, I agree with that. I think on that day the reason he got hampered was because he didn't have the tactical pace to keep his position.
A little bit, and just the form's not brilliant, is it? Nebo's been beaten, Zaman's been beaten, Finiston. They've all come out and not run so well since. So I just don't think the race was that brilliant, and we all got a bit carried away simply because it looked like he was hampered.
Okay.
He'd win the Futurity by 10 lengths.
No, he'll go on by 10. Well, I hope so. I'm on something for the Guineas.
Right, we're going to quickly mention the debutante, which is the other fillies race on the card. Clemmy, she ran at Newmarket. A lot of people were impressed with her. Happily, Magical, and September, of course, the Chesham winner, also in there. Take your pick, Paddy. Which one out of all of those would you be siding with?
I really like Clemmy. I think she's very, very good, and I think she'd be the one I'd be siding with. Wherever she goes, I'll be following her around the race. Ballet Shoes was good the other day as well if she ran, but I think Clemmy is potentially top drawer. And the other way at the start, you kind of go off the name and all that kind of stuff, because it's Churchill, about all the story about his wife and all that kind of crap. But I think she's yeah, well, you know what I mean. It's all this whatever these side tracking things, but actually she's just very good. She's improving with each run as well, which is nice. So I think she's going to be top notch.
Okay, Tom, anything to add?
All over Happily.
Okay.
All over it. It's funny for me having a horse that I like called Happily, isn't it? I'm not a bit grumpy. Should be called Grumpily.
You said it, not me.
Happily, I think. It's funny because Ryan Moore did a question and answer. He was over in Ireland for, the Leopardstown Champions meeting or whatever. He did a question and answer, and one of the questions was favourite 2-year-olds of the season, and the 2 he came out with was the Pentagon as the colt and Happily as the filly. Now, of course, he's on the spot. He could have come up with anything. You might have forgotten a few of them. He might have forgotten Gustav Klimt or Clemmy or whatever. But the 2 that sprang straight to his head were the Pentagon and Happily. And I have to admit, I'm a big fan of Happily. I think she was brilliant the other day in that Group 3 at Leopardstown, where she won by 5 lengths. The time wasn't brilliant, but she couldn't have won any easier. I just think she's very, very good. She's a sister to Glen Eagles. She's rated cool. The pedigree's all there. I just think she's exceptionally good. Okay, really quickly, Lee, before we go back to look at this weekend, which one would you be with?
Of the Ballydor fillies, what I like the most so far is September. I thought she was wildly impressive at Leopardstown when she made a debut. She wasn't as visually impressive in the Chesham next time, but you'd expect that it was a Chesham. But she did thump Niletti, who has gone on to threaten the form in no uncertain manner. So, yeah, I think going forward for me, it's September.
Okie dokie, we'll be right back in a moment.
Paddy Power are offering money back as a free bet if the horse you back finishes 2nd, 3rd or 4th to the SP favourite in 2 races today and every day this month. Max £25 per race. T&Cs apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Okay, welcome back to the Monday Postcast. We've had a look forward. Now we're going to have a look back. First off, we've got to touch on the action in Arlington on Saturday night. The Secretariat Stakes, won by Oscar Performance with Taj Mahal in 2nd. Absolutely gutting for Permian to lose his life in that race. So we've got to pay a quick tribute to him, having won the Dante and then went on to win at Royal Ascot. Marvellous horse. Really, really, really very sad. Lee, he was one of these horses that, you know, he was a bit like a national hunt horse in that a lot of people liked him because he seemed to run very often. He was very honest, heart on sleeve, and he was just a wonderful horse, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. Desperately sad, desperately unlucky, desperately unfortunate for all concerned. I mean, I was at York when he won the Dante, Ascot when he won the King of the Seventh. On both occasions, he had tremendous battling attitude. He was a real equine embodiment of what Mark Johnston and his team do there. Mark made the point today that for all that he actually had a lot of runs, he wouldn't have actually had many hard work sessions at home. That's not the way they train them. They mainly just go through canters. And it was desperately unfortunate that some Egypts on social media started having a pop at him and William Buick and Mark's son Charlie, because all of them would have absolutely only done what was best for the horse in the circumstances. So no, it's really sad. He's a horse that would have gone on, I'm sure, to have had a long and a noble career. You'd imagine he had a Group 1 in him in the not too distant future. That won't ever now be realised, but he was a grand horse when he was with us.
Indeed, very, very well put. We're going to move on to the Shergar Cup now, which is an event that's caused plenty of controversy in its time. Obviously, we had Jamie Spencer hitting the 2000 winner mark and Fran Berry winning the silver saddle. Paddy, if we go over to you, I'm not sure how much attention you paid to the Shergar Cup, but was there any particular highlight for you?
Yeah, I think I'd be a fan of the Shergar Cup in terms of it's good for the game and whatever. Loads of people like watching it, and it's a bit of a novelty event in terms of the team sport and all that kind of stuff. But I'd be a fan of it. It's still good racing at Ascot, isn't it? I mean, the one I thought was standing out for me was Raising Sand in the mile. Thought it was very decisive, and this is the one that was backed for the Lincoln. Was it the Lincoln or something at the start of the season, but ended up being pulled up and then beaten 40 lengths. And obviously, has slowly but surely come back to himself, considered very highly, I'd imagine, and probably has a bit more to offer. So he's 2 from 2 at Ascot and softish ground. So maybe the Balmoral handicap at Champions Day would be one to keep an eye on for Raising Sand.
Look at that for an anti-post tip. Tom, can you match it? Anything from the Shergar Cup that really caught your eye?
No, I'm like Paddy. I think the old racing snobs who get stuck into it couldn't be more wrong. I think it's a great day. I think 10, running around Ascot with 10 jockeys, 10 of the best jockeys from around, 12 of the best jockeys from around the world. I think it's great for the game. I love it. I think it's one of the best days of the year. I really, really embrace it. I thought the racing was just what you'd expect. Very solid 10-runner handicaps. I cannot understand why people wouldn't be interested in watching that race than they would be watching one at Newmarket. They'd say there's one at Newmarket down the road that they prefer better, with 10 jockeys that are nowhere near as good, with 10 horses that aren't anywhere near as good. So for me, I think it's all a load of nonsense when people have a go at it. I think it's great. Really enjoyed it. Good to see all those trainers. Mick Quinn having a winner, wasn't it great? Jimmy Osborne, Dean Ivory, Jim Goldie. They were all having John Best. They all had winners, didn't they? And I just thought it was just a good day.
Yeah, it's a very popular day, and I think there's a lot of events like this around the globe, and it's great that we can do it at Ascot and really showcase off Ascot. As far as I'm aware, we don't have too many events like this. So I think for one day a year, maybe everyone just needs to shut up about it, don't they, Lee? Just enjoy it. Yeah, I
like the boys, I'd be a big fan of it. It is what it is, it's a fun event, and there's plenty of scope in the calendar. We have 52 Saturdays a year. There's plenty of scope for a Saturday like that when a day such as a Shergar Cup gets in the spotlight. As Tom says, you're talking about top-notch jockeys from wherever they come. These aren't Muppets. These are high class.
These aren't Muppets.
They're not. Yeah. These are high class, world class jockeys on the world's most famous racecourse. What's not to like about that? If you don't like it, then switch over and do something else. Having said that, I was out all day Saturday, so I didn't see a lot.
So you did switch off and do something else.
You should have left. It was going well until the last sentence, Lee.
I was at athletics, both sessions, morning and evening. So thrilling stuff there with a great hedgehog as well, as mascots go.
Absolutely love it.
Hero the hedgehog is just a stunner.
I was shown him. I barely watched any of the athletics. I was working away, and someone just said, "Oh, Maddie, look at Hero the hedgehog." Isn't he brilliant? Watched a video about it this morning. What a legend.
Yeah, no, he could. And I did see Rod Street retweeting a comment about that hedgehog. So I would not be surprised if on Champions Day, Hero the hedgehog is seconded from the Olympic Stadium to Ascot, where I thought Jamie Spencer's ride on Stake a Claim, very timely, given his 2000th winner. Well, that was his 2000th, wasn't it?
Yeah, indeed.
That highlighted his abilities. Great ride on that horse. So yeah, fantastic day. I didn't see much of it, but I love it.
Tom, Paddy, would you be a fan of having a mascot like the hedgehog?
I'm not sure what race he's going to run in. But
Oh, I think it would be
I'll take
great.
the 5th.
Yeah, I think we'll leave the hedgehog to Lee.
Oh, I'm with
I'm not
Lee. I
taking
think
him home. I just said he did a good job.
it was, good entertaining.
Came
wasn't
down
it?
on a zip
No
wire. he
idea what
walked
you're
a-
talking about.
But you see,
Really?
when it comes to Champions Day or
Yes.
Champions Weekend in Ireland or whatever,
Yeah.
you don't need the hedgehog because it's like Arc Day or something. It's just boom, like quality after quality after quality. And if you don't get excited for that, it's like Cheltenham when it's just when you have quality racing one after the other. But you can't have that every weekend, like we're saying. So therefore, Saturday just gone is perfect, and that's the family day. That's the day for the bit of crack and all that kind of stuff, and having all the sideshows. But then there does come the days where you don't need the sideshows. You just need to concentrate on the quality of the racing and say, look, aren't we so lucky that we have whatever X amount of Group 1s one after the other?
Well, if I can be controversial, with the state of Irish flatter tendencies, a hedgehog might be quite useful to bump them up.
It could.
They don't flood in through the gates.
I'm going to be getting in the way of some sort of scrap here in a
No.
minute.
It is a fair point. It's a fair point. But it's funny. Leopardstown Champions Day will be brilliant. The Curragh will probably find it a bit tougher to fill the place. But
No gimmicks needed then,
It
Paddy, you
should be
reckon?
it should be Leopardstown both days, shouldn't it? Irish Champions Weekend this year. Just
Oh,
seems
that's
like
a
the
whole
third
new
day
kettle of
of the
fish.
I'll take the 5th on that one as well.
Right, guys, we don't...
Leading the 5th an awful lot on hedgehogs on Irish Champions Weekend.
Yeah,
I'm afraid
No,
we
actually,
don't.
Do you know what? Whatever. Yeah. go on.
We don't have too much more time for hedgehog speak. Saturday eye catchers we're going to
prickly
move on to next. Tajanus may have been a potential 1,000 guineas horse in the Sweet Solera. What do we reckon, Paddy? What price have you got on her for the 1,000
Oh,
guineas?
I think she's 33 to 1. I can't imagine. I don't think Aidan O'Brien even have looked at the replay. I can't imagine she's really a Guineas horse for me. I think she got it was obviously she won and everything. Got a very good ride. I think made all up the stands rail and all that kind of stuff. But just the race kind of probably went her way. I can't imagine. I think with the strength and depth in Ballydoyle, I'd imagine that they wouldn't be too worried. I mean, she wouldn't be going into my shortlist after that, I don't think.
Okay, any other eye catchers from Saturday?
I have one.
Go for it.
Well, not really an eye catcher, but well, if it was an eye catcher, it was very impressive. But Sia Grace was very impressive at short price, but just looks like when the ground is soft, she's a real contender, probably in a Group 1 at some stage. So whether it's a Matron or a Sunchard or something like that, but I just think that and those fillies, filly miles race, they're probably not the deepest, to be honest with them. So I'd say that she'll have a real opportunity late in the season to pick up that Group 1.
Okay, Tom, Saturday eye catchers?
No, I not really. I thought that the most eye-catching performance all week was in Deauville, and it was from a 2-year-old trained by Jean-Claude Rouget called Olmedo, Olmedo. I think he...
Is that the horse that won in the Almanzor colours?
Correct. I thought
he was awesome.
I think he's undoubtedly Group 1 class, and I'm pretty sure we'll be seeing him in the French Guineas next year. I think he was really good.
Okay, it's Ace that he's been given a mention. Lee, any Saturday eye catchers from you?
I'm trying to find the result of this Rouget 2-year-old. No, I'd like Paddy. I was pleased to see Sia Grace win. Mittens ran a shocker in that race, so it's hard to work out, quite how good the performance was. But she did it really well, and she looks like a horse that should have a fair chance of winning a Group 1 at some point. And
Just
with
going
William
back-
Haggis, he'll deploy her well.
Just going back, Maddie, can I give a shout out to Dane O'Neill?
You can, of
Every
course you can.
time, he gets on one of these horses like Bertache or Taginus, everyone goes, oh, he goes well for Dane. Dane O'Neill is one of our best jockeys. How anyone cannot have worked it out by now. He's always riding good races. He was brilliant on Taginus. He was brilliant on... Every time he rides, I think he's one of... And he's how he gets so few rides. He should be... In my opinion, he's as good as Jim Crowley, and he should be joint number 1 with him, and they should be splitting the rides, because I think Dane O'Neill is one of our best. And why he doesn't get more rides is beyond me.
It's a bold statement, but he always seems to deliver the goods when he's put on these good horses.
What
like
do you think,
say.
Lee?
I'd say one of the reasons why he doesn't get as many rides as he should do is because of the job he's got. I think if you are a number 1, or particularly if you're a number 2, if you probably spend your week thinking, right, where is the boss going to send me? So you get to, say, on a Saturday, Thursday morning, am I going to the main meeting? Am I going to Newmarket? Am I going to Thirsk? And so other trainers who want to get their plans sorted in advance have already got the horses allocated.
I get that. But he didn't have many rides, does he? He doesn't get as many rides as he should do.
But that's probably one of the reasons.
Yeah, but he's still at that meeting, isn't he?
But
I mean,
they don't know he's going to be at that meeting probably
until too late.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, maybe that's it. But
Good.
whatever, he's a top man and he should get more rides.
Yeah.
Good point, Lee, and I think we're all in agreement with that. We'll move on now to Sunday. Awakir and Sioux Nation, the star names on show there. Awakir, very narrow winner in France. I think he's about 8-1 now for the Breeders' Cup Mile. Paddy, can you confirm?
I can indeed. Awakir
88
is
to 1.
7-1.
Yeah.
7-1.
7-1.
Yeah.
God, blimey, Paddy! I wouldn't back it with another 7 on the front.
I'd be kind of on your. I'd be with you. I just think like Awakir, wow, won and like was a head, a short head, a neck, and it's about 27 horses lined across the tracks. Like so, it's that would suggest that it wasn't the strongest, or else they're all very, very good. Like obviously, he was brave, put a head down and got there on the line, but it was a fantastic finish. Probably a step up and trip might suit rather
Exactly.
than
Yeah, I
He's
think
got absolutely no chance in the Breeders' Cup Mile. He starts slowly, he bites other horses, his head's in the wrong place, and he's got absolutely no chance of winning that race. But when he steps up in trip, I think
Cup Mile now after that.
I think yes, exactly. But I think something like Champions Day, the Champion Stakes, is his race. I really do. I think a race like that, or 10 furlongs, is surely we're going to see him at his best. He's still a funny horse, though.
But
for
are there
me.
going to be any horses left run over a mile at the end of the season?
Nope.
When
I
all
think the
these
trainer
genuine,
said
like,
that that's his last run over a mile now, and he's definitely stepping up.
Well, exactly. So therefore, Maddie, are you agreeing with me that 7-1 for him to win the Breeders' Cup Mile is not a price you'd be interested in?
Hey, I'm not here to give my opinions. I'm here to make sure you guys don't all kill each other.
You can give your opinions.
No, I can't.
Go on, give your opinions.
No, I'm not massive on Awakir, and I did have a look at the horses from that race that have gone on to run in the Breeders' Cup Mile, and they've
not gonna run, is
not
he?
recently done that great. So I'm with you. Sioux Nation, can we get a bit excited about him now, Paddy, in the Phoenix?
I think we could, yeah. I mean, like we've made Sioux Nation favourite for the Commonwealth Cup now, and next year at Ascot, like
At what
8-1,
price?
8-1 favourite.
There we go.
So still, it was like the favourite for the Commonwealth Cup is going to be 2-1, 9-4 comes out. Whether it'll be Sioux Nation or not, who knows yet. But I think Sioux Nation was good, and there was a lot of money for Sioux Nation on the day. So obviously, it was very, very well fancied, thought a lot of, and delivered the goods. Took home the bacon.
Yeah, Lee, were you suitably impressed by Sioux Nation?
Didn't think it was a very good one. I thought it was a terrible Phoenix Stakes. On
really?
paper before. Yeah, I
That's
thought.
harsh.
You're not a Beckford fan, no?
No, I think he's a good horse, but I didn't think there was much strength in depth. Normally, Aidan goes into the race with one you're thinking, well, that could be his Guineas horse. I don't think anyone went into the race thinking that Aidan was bringing his normal strength of challenge to the race, which is probably why he had so many runners. Thought Beckford looked like a horse would be much better, or would be better over further. That's probably his minimum trip. And Sioux Nation is clearly getting better, and Commonwealth Cup could be his race. But I just didn't. I thought that and the Jacques Le Marois, normally races you get excited about, even beforehand, I don't think they look particularly hot renewals. So I think Sioux Nation, he could well develop into a good horse, because Aidan's horses, they get beat loads of times and they'll suddenly hit the winning run and they'll blossom. Defeats with the Ballydor horses aren't a big thing, because they tend to progress. So it could be, and it looks physically like a nice horse, but I wasn't wildly excited by the Group 1, truth be told. I'm sorry.
Okay, don't apologise,
Well, I feel
Lee.
bad.
That's how it is
No, I'm
sometimes.
sorry.
Tom, you love Sioux Nation, no?
Oh, I like him. Yeah. But I think, in terms of horses, 2-year-olds I saw at Royal Ascot in the flesh, because I was at Ascot for most of it. I thought he was the best looking one by quite a way. I thought he really, really had a lot of progression in him, a lot of improvement in him.
And you love him because he's a scat daddy.
Well, I think he'll be good at Ascot. That's for sure. That's for sure.
Cup.
That's for sure. So the Commonwealth Cup. I mean, he's obviously got the Ascot form. Look, that's just a little thing I have about taking them on at short prices when they look so good at Ascot. Clearly, they can run. They don't lose legs when they go to other places, and clearly they could still run. But I just think Ascot suits them better. I thought it was a good race, unlikely. I thought Beckford had done absolutely nothing wrong. I think Actress was really impressive last time. US Navy Flag had been second in one of the group race at second to Card Sharp. He wasn't been very far in the July Stakes. Frozen Angels got solid, was second in the Group 1 in France, the Mornay. I thought it was a pretty decent race, and I thought Sioux Nation did really well to pick up as well as he did. I think he's a good horse. I don't think he'll stay much further than 6 furlongs. So, yes, I'm not surprised to see him favourite for the Commonwealth Cup. Would I back him at 8-1? Absolutely no.
Okay, nicely done. We've got opposing views there. Before we go to a break, just quickly, here's your chance to win a free £25 or €25 free bet from Paddy Power. Simply tweet your answer to this question using the hashtag Postcast. Who won the Keeneland Phoenix Stakes at the Curragh on Sunday? We'll announce the winner on Friday's show. The free bet will be credited to your Paddy Power account. Good luck.
Paddy Power are offering money back as a free bet if the horse you back finishes second, third or fourth to the SP favourite in 2 races today and every day this month. Max £25 per race. T&Cs apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Okay, welcome back to the Monday Postcast. I'm joined by Lee Mottershead, Paddy Power and Tom Siegel, and we're going to have a good look now at York, the Ebor Festival. Obviously, it's quite a long way off still, so we don't have any solid ideas on who's going, but we're going to give it our best shot. On Wednesday, we've got the Jude Mont International, which is a race I'm super, super excited about. Barney Roy, potentially Ulysses, who's been second in the King George since, and Churchill, of course. Now he's been redirected this way. Paddy, do you have any betting for the Jude Mont International?
We sure do, and this does look an absolute cracker. Let's hope they all show up. But so Barney Roy's 3-1 favourite. Then you got Churchill and Ulysses, both 7-2, 7-1 Highland Reel, 9-1 Winter, and 14-1 each. Cliffs of Moher, Shutter Speed, and Nezwa. So I would be a Churchill fan on this. I think Step Up and Trip's going to really suit. Yeah, I'm going to forgive him Royal Ascot, and I just think that this could be again another one of the 27,000 horses that are stepping up for a mile to 10 furlongs. I think Churchill is going to be one that'll really appreciate the Step Up and Trip, and I think it might just make a man of him.
I see you're arguing there, but I'm a massive Barney Roy fan. I think he was wicked in the Eclipse. He pulled so hard and then he fought back, and I think this is his trip, this is his race. Tom, do you agree with me or Paddy? Or...
No, I think York's the track for him. I think he hasn't had a race run to suit him yet this season, Barney Roy. I think they cannot believe they're not using pace. They need to get him going. He never gets going, does he, until they well past the line.
Stick Toscanini in there.
Yeah, they need to get some. I do think Ulysses is an underrated horse, though. Yeah. I really do. I mean, I'd love to see him against Ribchester at a mile. That's how well he travels. I think he'd be a fantastic miler too, but I do think he's underrated. He was cantered all over them, didn't he, in the Eclipse? He was cantering again before he got outstayed by Enable. And I think I'm not sure York's going to be his track, to be honest. And I think Barney Roy will beat him there, but I do think he might be underrated in the market. I personally can't have Churchill. No.
Okay.
I don't think he's for me anymore.
Breeders' Cup for Ulysses later in the season, an anti-post
for you? Well, no, I'd like to, as I say, I'm trying to work on them to get him to run him in the QE2 at Ascot over a mile, see what he could do. Look, he's by Galileo out of an Oaks winner. If he could win a Group 1 over a mile, what a stallion. He's a great stallion prospect anyway. But, I think he's got the pace to be competitive in that race. He could do both. Why not give him a crack at that and then go to the Breeders' Cup?
Why not, indeed? So Churchill for Paddy, Barney Roy for Tom. Who for you, Lee?
Like Tom, I'm a huge fan of Ulysses. I thought the way he travelled into the Eclipse, Mark Tomato was absolutely a top performer. He was cruising going around the bend again in the King George before the Wonder Filly went away on ground that wouldn't have suited Ulysses and probably stretched him in those sort of conditions. Like Tom, I'm just not sure the long home straight at York would necessarily be in his favour, because he does have to be produced just at the right time. Or it seems he has to be produced just at the right time. He travels all into his races. And the way Alan Cooper, the racing manager for the Niarchos family, was talking today, I wouldn't necessarily be convinced he'll go to York. They've got Leopardstown as well as another obvious option not too far down the line. If Ulysses didn't go, I would be much keener on Barney Roy than Churchill. I think Churchill has something to prove, and even when winning the 2 Guineas, he looked like a very good horse, but I didn't think he looked like an exceptional racehorse. I think ability-wise, Barney Roy just might be more talented.
Okay, so that's the Jude Mont International all wrapped up for you there. What about the Great Voltigeur? Again, there's loads of horses in this. Capri, Crystal Ocean, Defoe, Cracksman, who I believe it'll be his last run of the season. Betting, Paddy, have we got any luck with that?
Well, I mean, Cracksman's confirmed, isn't he? I mean, he's about the only one, so he's favourite 7-4. Which might turn out to be a decent price. Capri and Crystal Ocean and Mirage Dance are all 8-1, then 10-1 each. Defoe, Ben Battle, and Douglas MacArthur, and 14-1 Bar. So, yeah, I think Cracksman is pretty solid. Capri probably won't run. 'Cause probably able to give Cracksman £5, isn't that right, after the Irish Derby? So
He has got a penalty.
yeah, so that might be inclined not to run Capri. And then I think Mirage Dancer and Defoe, if Defoe turns up here, both of them are interesting, aren't they, as improving horses, and they could be ones to step up and put their name on in lights. But I think Cracksman's going to be pretty hard to beat. He's probably going to go off a bit shorter than 7-4, I imagine.
He's the sort of class horse in the race, isn't he? But do you think something can improve past him, Tom?
Well, they're not brilliant, are they? The 3-year-old colts, staying colts, are they? The 1.5-mile horses. They all beat each other every time. It seems to, another one comes out and throws his hat in the ring. I'm a Crystal Ocean fan. I think he's probably the best of them at the moment. I don't think he's not going to run, is he?
No.
I think they said he was going straight to the Ledger, if at all. Interesting to see who Aidan runs. I think they might run Capri because I don't know where else they're going to run him. Unless they run him on Saturday if he's a St. Ledger horse, or if they're going to run him in a St. Ledger, he's got to run somewhere, I presume, since afterwards. I think Aidan's run a few. He likes using this as his Ledger trial.
Idaho won it last year, didn't he?
Yeah.
Idaho won it. Milan. I think a few of them have won it over the years. Whether he runs under a penalty, I don't know. And as I say, there's that horse Belgravia. He's got loads in there that he could run. I wouldn't be surprised if he ran. Any of the others in there? I think Raheen House, I don't think he's going, but he's going to the St. Ledger. And the other Aidan horse I was quite interested in was a horse called Spanish Steps, who won at Leopardstown in the week, I think. I think he beat the older horse. He beat Johannes Vermeer at Leopardstown over 1.5 miles. I think he's getting better. He's one of those Aidan horses that had about 20 runs, and you never, suddenly he looks quite good after not looking so good before. But I think he's the type of horse that could run well in a Voltigeur, yeah.
Well, interestingly, I was looking at the Ebor and I saw him in that, so maybe we'll give him a little mention later on.
Never get in though, will he, Maddie?
Probably not, but
never get in. You have to be rated about
him.
120 of a 3-year-old to get in there these days.
You said it that he could, if he puts up another good display somewhere, then he could be interesting.
No, because the weights are already out, so it's difficult for him to get to get in there. I mean, he's got a penalty already for that win, but he's still, I think, quite way down the weights, because I had a look at that race this very morning in preparation for this.
You are more prepared than me in this instance. Lee, what about the Great Voltigeur?
Yeah, well, Aidan was talking, I think, in this, in recent days, whether it might have been that Leopardstown deal or the Curve of the weekend. He named 3 horses: Capri, Venice Beach, and Spanish Steps as horses in the mix for the Great Voltigeur. Like Tom, I wouldn't be at all surprised to see Capri go there. Yes, he would have to give £5 to Cracksman, but it's a Group 2. It's not a Group 1. It's a race that's taking him to a target as opposed to the target in itself. So I could see Capri going there. I think York and Donny would suit him really well. Mirage Dance will be interesting if he ran in the race. He was running on at the end of the Hampton Court at Royal Ascot. So I think he'd be interesting if he ran in it. But if it was just Capri versus Cracksman, even giving £5 to Cracksman, I think I'd be inclined to go with Capri. And historical fans of 1970s jumping will be backing Spanish Steps, because he was placed in the Grand National in 1975.
Maddie, you can't
not
the
same one.
Hey, we all know I'm a big National Hunt fan. I watch my replays, all right?
Good
I know
girl.
Spanish Steps.
Well done.
I know Spanish Steps. Moving on to the Yorkshire Oaks now on the Thursday. Paddy, we've got all sorts of good horses in here. Enable, I don't know if she'll go now. I think she's been given a break. Endless Time, Maury, Winter, Wahida. Where are we with the betting?
Well, if Enable doesn't go, it makes it throws everything up in the air, because she's 1-3 and she looks an absolute penalty kick if she does turn up. Rhododendron 6-1, 10-1, Queen's Trust 12-1 each. The Black Princess, Winter, Abingdon, Mari, Zakova 14-1, Somidar, Coronet. I mean, look, knees well. If Enable doesn't go, just rip it up and start again, and maybe Rhododendron's a short price favourite then, but you wouldn't be getting stuck in, I don't think.
Okay, so no sort of massive eye-catcher down the bottom of the betting if Enable doesn't go for you?
No, I think if Enable turns up, she wins, obviously, and apart from that, I think it's just have to relook again.
Okay, Tom, Enable, your favourite filly. Do we think she's going to go or not if she's having sort of a later autumn campaign?
For her, isn't
it is, but I'm not sure if
we said the same about Tagruda, though, didn't we? Do you remember Tagruda, Paddy?
Yeah,
when she got beat after winning. Yeah, she got beat at 10s on by one of Aidan's. Look,
Tapestry, was that?
It was. Yeah. I think if she runs, she wins. I think the interesting filly at the prices there was Roger Varian's Neswar, really. She won the Pretty Polly really, really, really impressively. It was very easy. It's filly she beat, Rain Goddess, isn't in Enable's class, but she was second to Enable in the Irish Oaks, so she wasn't.
She didn't do anything out in Arlington, though, did she?
Yeah, that was a funny race out
Can't
there.
have been
She
her
made
running
the
that,
Yeah,
can
that
it?
wasn't her running. I think she's a really good filly. I could, I don't know if this is the plan. She's never run over a mile and a half, as far as I can tell. I think it would suit her, judging by the way she finished off at Goodwood, Curragh, when she won the Pretty Polly. She obviously missed Goodwood because of the rain. I think she's a very good filly that could finish second if Enable turns up. And if she doesn't, she might win.
Nicely done. Lee, Yorkshire Oaks for you?
Yeah, just hope that Enable goes. Certainly the way Connections were talking after the King George was that they were very much minded to go for the Yorkshire Oaks, where, of course, Teddy
It was
Grimm
always
thought-
the plan, wasn't it? I didn't know if they changed their mind after the King George.
There was no suggestion that there was. In fact, Teddy Grimthorpe, who's a racing manager to Prince Khalid and he's also the chairman of York Racecourse, had a nice line where he said something along the lines of, well, that should just tear up nicely for the Yorkshire Oaks. And yeah, listen, it'd be great if she runs. I think outside of Royal Ascot, this for me is by far and away the best summer flat festival, or the best flat festival outside of Royal Ascot, full stop. It's a wonderful racecourse. They do things in the right way. Great value for money for customers. Food and drink's fantastic. It's a great city as well. Love York, and I would love to see Enable in there. And yeah, Tagruda did get turned over in the race, that could happen to any horse.
I think she was in season as well, so it wasn't like she ran on merit.
Yeah, I hope she runs there, and it would just look an obvious way of going en route to Shanty. They can give her a bit of a break after that, then, and just tear up for the Arc.
Lee,
Okay.
I have to say, Lee, you're full of the love today, just
I
for
know.
everyone generally. Like, you really are in great form. You obviously had a really good weekend, and
He's
it's really
just doing
nice
it for
to.
us.
No,
I
But
can
you
feel
have
it
lost
emanating
you've lost
through
your
you.
privileges at the Curragh. You've lost your privileges at Goodwood.
But York love me. York love me.
But yeah.
And the hedgehog fraternity love me
William
as well.
Darby's inviting you round for tea.
I love York.
Right, guys, we're going to get a wriggle on because we've not got much time left, so we're just going to quickly touch on the Nunthorpe and the Ebor. Nunthorpe first off, Lady Aurelia and Batash. It's between those two, isn't it, Paddy?
This is the race of the week, I think, isn't it? The Nunthorpe again. But yeah, Lady Aurelia's favourite 6-4, Batash 2-1. And then there's actually a gap of two empty spaces below, because as there should be. And then you got Marsha 10-1, 12-1. Profitable 14-1 Muthmere, and who cares about the rest? Lady Aurelia, I think Batash for me, just showing the versatility. Lady Aurelia needs to prove she can do it away from Ascot, and just Batash with the ground versatility and all that kind of thing. I think Batash at 2-1 I'd be preferring just at this stage.
He's a machine, isn't he, Tom?
Yeah, he's lovely, but this is where I lose my dinner reservation with William Darby at York. I don't back any horse at a short price at York, never, ever, because I think it's a really, really is a good track for course specialists. Neither of them have, I'm not even sure, I don't think either of them ever run there. So I wouldn't want to be taking very short prices about any horse, however good. We've just mentioned Tagruda, 1-10, 10-1 unbeaten there. It's not if the ground's fast, no problem. If there's any rain and it gets a bit shifty underfoot, I think it's a track for upsets. I'll be looking at a course specialist somewhere else that hasn't got the form yet, but it's York, and we've seen time and time and time again in this race, and in Paddy's horse won at 100-1. Now he turned out to be the bet of all time at 100-1, but Dwala won at 40-1. We've had upset after upset in races at York over the years when the ground gets a bit funny. So I wouldn't be backing either of them at the price. Finding one to beat them at this stage, finding the one that I would be on, is a different question. But no, not for me either of them at the prices.
Okay, Lee, Lady Aurelia, Batash, other.
Fantastic race, and I could say of the others, I could see Marsha running well. She's got a York win to her name. She didn't run bad at Goodwood. On her best form, she's really smart. But yeah, it's a fantastic race to watch. And another example of the invigoration the sprinting scene has seen, because it's good to see two horses dominating the market at short prices, because in the old days you'd have had at this stage maybe a 6-1 the field Nunthorpe, which suggests a competitive race but no superstars. We got superstars now. That's good.
Yeah, Lee's still feeling the love. We're going to move on to the Ebor really quickly now on the Saturday. Paddy, who's favourite at this stage? I don't think a favourite's won since Purple Moon in 2007.
Yeah, well, it's like Tom just alluded to there a minute ago. Like, I mean, there's going to be about £2 between the top weight and bottom weight. But Fly Me to the Stars is just favourite 7-1, and you got 14-1 Wild Hack, 16 each of Desert Skyline, Ivan Grosley, Kid Me Never, Dal Harold, 20-1 bar, whatever. Like it's a really, really open race, as the betting would suggest. Dal Harold maybe for me, just because carrying top weight or near enough top weight won't really matter because it's so compressed. The weight band is so narrow that you probably do need it. Well, you definitely need a class horse to win it, and you're not going to be giving away too much weight regardless.
Wonderful. Okay, Tom, now you've educated me on the Ebor and Spanish steps. Take it away.
I'm just looking down now, Maddie. I think it's 55. So look, if it all comes across about
Wait,
55
with
his penalty, he might get in, but it's very unlikely. I think it's 20 runs run. I like one in this. I like a horse called Kid Me Never for Charlie Appleby. He was second to Sparkplug in a listed race at Sandown in July, and the form has worked out really well. Francus was in there. Fanciful Angel, who went on to run so well in the Arlington Million, was there. Jakes Hill was in there, who wasn't beaten far in the Gordon Stakes the other day. He's not gone up in the weights. He's got solid form over this trip. I think he's crying out for this trip. He ran well at Royal Ascot. It's just the type of horse that Godolphin, they've got a good record at York in handicaps. It's the type of horse that will run well. So I've had a few quid each way on Kid Me Never at a big price.
Nicely done. Lee, as quick as you can.
Interesting. Quick as you can. Dal Harold, I'd agree with Paddy.
Wicked. Anti-post naps for York. I'm going back to you.
I'd say Dal Harold. William Haggis loves York. Wouldn't be too surprised if the horse ran in the race. And yeah, I think Dal Harold with one possible eye towards the Melbourne Cup as well.
Okay, wonderful. Tom?
Well, it's the only race I've really had a good look at is the Ebor, so I'll have to be Kid Me Never.
Okay, big price that. Paddy, what about you?
Just to annoy the two lads, I'm going to go for Churchill in the judgment.
There we go. So plenty of controversy on this week's Postcast. Thank you for joining us. If you've enjoyed listening, make sure you subscribe and rate us on iTunes, and we'll see you next Monday.
Check out Paddy Power's new and exclusive Cash Card Plus, available to use online, at ATMs, or even down the local. Paddy Power, you beauty!